The alien child's cry, the space station Zeta-9 was always busy. It floated in deep space, far from Earth. Aliens and humans walked side by side. Some wore shiny spacesuits. Some sold food or tools. Others just talked or waited for their ship. In the middle of this noise, one strange sound echoed louder than others. "Give my mom a credit. She clean your toilet," shouted a small alien child. People stopped and looked. Some laughed, some turned away. A few took out their holophones to record him. The child had green skin, 4 small arms, and big round black eyes. He wore an old red shirt and torn shoes. His voice was loud, but his face looked tired. "Please, 1 credit, just 1. She cleans fast. She's very good." Nobody cared. A tall alien walked past and pushed the boy aside. "Get lost," he said in a deep voice. The child stood back up. His voice was shaking, but he shouted again. "Give my mom a credit, just 1. She clean your toilet better than a robot." From a corner, a human man watched. His name was Jack Weller, a mechanic from Earth. He was 32, with short brown hair and a tool belt around his waist. He fixed broken machines on the station, nothing fancy. He had seen poor aliens before. He had seen sad things, but something about this boy was different. He didn't beg for food. He didn't cry. He shouted with courage. Jack walked closer. The boy looked at him with wide eyes. "You want your toilet cleaned, sir?" "My mom is fast, 1 credit only, please," Jack smiled. "What's your name, kid?" "Plek," Jack nodded. "All right, Plek. Tell your mom to come clean my place tomorrow." 12, room 5. Plek's eyes lit up. His mouth opened in shock. "Really? You mean it? 1 full credit?" Jack laughed. "Yeah, I got some rust stains even robots can't fix. Let's see what your mom can do." Plek jumped and shouted happily. Thank you, you won't regret this." He ran off quickly into the crowd. Jack watched him go, still smiling. He didn't know why he said yes. Maybe it was the boy's courage. Maybe he just felt bad. Either way, it was just 1 credit. No big deal. But from a dark corner near the garbage chute, someone else was watching Jack. A tall figure in a black coat, face hidden behind red goggles, whispered into a communicator. Target made contact. Phase 1 complete. The next morning, Jack opened the door to his room. Standing there was Plek's mother. She was taller than Jack, with the same green skin and large black eyes, but her arms were only 2. She wore a long gray coat and held a simple cleaning bag. "You must be Jack," she said calmly. Jack stepped aside. "Come in, it's all yours." Zura looked around. His room wasn't dirty, but it wasn't clean either. Old coffee cups, oily tools, some dust. She smiled and went to work. Jack watched her quietly. She didn't talk much. She moved fast, wiped every corner, used strange bottles that gave off sweet smells. The toilet? Sparkling in 5 minutes. Even the robot cleaners couldn't do that. He chuckled. "Okay, not bad." Zura nodded. "I told you. My son speaks the truth." Jack sat down and asked, "Why do this?" "Can't you get better work?" Zura paused. "I do what I must. We were not always poor." She began humming a soft tune while she cleaned. Jack listened. The song was calm, but there was something strange, almost sad. "What's that song?" he asked. Zura answered, "It's a song of protection. From my people's old days." Suddenly, a loud crack came from the bathroom. Zura rushed in. Jack followed. On the floor was a small metal bug like a tiny robot spider. Its body was smoking. One of Zura's cleaning sprays had melted it. "What is that?" Jack asked, shocked. Zura looked at it closely. Her face changed. She was no longer calm. "That," she said slowly, "is a watcher, a spy machine. Not from this station." Jack bent down. You're saying someone sent it here? To watch me? Zura stood up straight. Her eyes narrowed. Not just you. They are watching many. But today, your toilet spray destroyed it. Jack blinked. My toilet spray? Zura gave a small smile. Cleaning saves lives. But when Jack looked away, her face turned serious again. She whispered in her own language. They found. US, we must move fast. The cleaning begins. Zura returned the next day. She was right on time. Jack had left the door open for her. He was under a machine, fixing a water pipe, his shirt half covered in oil. His small room looked the same as before, clean, thanks to her. You're back, he said without looking up. I said I would come, Zura replied simply. She placed her cleaning bag on the floor and opened it. Inside were bottles of glowing blue and green liquids, small tools, soft brushes, and a folded gray cloth that looked centuries old. Jack peeked from under the machine. What is that cloth? Looks like it's from a museum. Zura didn't answer. She began wiping the wall with it, and the dark oil stains vanished instantly. Jack sat up and stared. All right, that's not normal. Zura continued working. It is normal for my people, she said. We clean with science, not chemicals, Jack laughed. Maybe I should stop fixing machines and start cleaning toilets instead. Zura turned to him. Toilets show the truth about people. Who they are, how they live, how they hide. Jack blinked. That single quote says ... actually deep. Zura didn't smile. She just kept cleaning. Later, while she polished the floor, Jack brought her a drink. It's just recycled water, he said, handing her a silver cup. She took it politely. Thank you. They sat for a moment in silence. Jack asked, So, where did you learn to clean like this? Zura paused. In war. Jack raised an eyebrow. War? Zura looked at him. Before I was a cleaner, I was a commander. There was no smile on her face, no pride, just memory. Jack didn't push. He knew not to ask more for now. As Zura cleaned the final corner of the room, her humming started again. That same soft, strange song, protective, powerful, peaceful, and heavy with something hidden. Jack listened from his seat. He felt safe but also curious. He grabbed his holopad and searched alien songs from the outer sectors. No match. He looked at Zura. That song. I've heard thousands of alien tunes, but this one doesn't exist in any database. Zura replied, That's because it's not for machines. It's only for ears that remember. Jack didn't understand, but he nodded anyway. Later that night, Jack was asleep. Everything was quiet, until he heard a faint click near the window. He sat up fast. A small robot bug, just like the one from before, was crawling on the glass. Suddenly, it jumped down and moved toward his desk. Jack froze. It looked different from last time, sharper legs, red blinking eyes. But just as it reached his bed, it stopped. It began to smoke. Then melt. It had touched a small patch of floor that Zura had cleaned earlier. The strange blue liquid had burned through the metal like acid. Jack grabbed a tool and hit the half-dead bug. It stopped moving. He picked up the smoking remains and stared at it. Same model. Spy bug. But upgraded. He looked at the cleaning spot that saved him. Zura ... He whispered. The next morning, Zura returned. Jack didn't smile this time. He showed her the broken bug. This came last night. Zura stared at it quietly. I know. Jack stepped forward. You know? Why didn't you tell me? Zura looked up at him. Because you were not ready to believe me yesterday. Jack was silent. Zura pointed at the small burn marks on the bug's legs. That's my formula. It destroys metal and memory chips. Jack asked, Why are they watching me? Zura shook her head. They are not just watching you. They are watching everyone who helps someone like me. She picked up her bag and turned to leave. Before walking out, she said something strange. Luck. your doors, and clean your air vents. Not everything enters through the front. Then she disappeared into the crowd. Back in his room, Jack sat alone. One credit. One simple job. That's all it was supposed to be. But now he was holding a melted spy bot, talking to a woman who once led an army, and hearing songs that didn't exist in any record. He looked at the floor, shining from yesterday's clean. He whispered to himself, "Who is she?" From a dark security camera across the station, a hidden figure watched the scene. He zoomed in on Jack's face. Too curious, he muttered. Then he turned off the screen. Hidden past Jack couldn't stop thinking about Zura. For 2 nights, he slept with one eye open. The melted robot bug was still on his table. He had scanned it. Its tech was advanced military grade. But it didn't belong to any known army. Who sent it? And why did it burn from cleaning liquid? Jack replayed Zura's last words in his head. Lock your doors. Clean your air vents. Not everything enters through the front. That wasn't something the cleaner says. That was something the soldier says. The next day, Jack went looking. He checked the docks, the market, even the lower engine decks. No sign of Zura. No sign of her son. Finally, in the trash tunnel between Sector 3 and 4, he saw something strange. A child's red shirt. Torn. It was the same shirt Plek wore. Jack followed. Tunnel was dark, filled with dripping pipes and humming machines. It wasn't made for walking. But he kept going, crawling at one point. Then, finally light. A hidden room. Inside were 5 alien women. They were not cleaning. They were training, spinning mop handles like staffs, lifting heavy boxes, practicing combat stances. All of them wore plain gray coats like Zura's. Zura stood in the center, calm, focused. She turned and saw Jack. He froze. She didn't yell, didn't panic. She just said, "You followed the truth." Most turn away. Jack raised his hands. "I didn't come to fight. I came to understand." Zura motioned for him to sit on a metal box. He did. She walked over and sat across from him. "Asked who I am, so I will tell you." Zura's story. Zura was once a battle leader from a far system, Sector 11. Her people were known as the Nali, quiet but fierce when forced to fight. Years ago, her planet made peace with a growing alien empire called the Varnax, but it was a trap. The Varnax wanted Nali DNA to create perfect spies, aliens who could clean, fix, and blend in, but also kill without sound. Zura refused to help them. So they attacked her city. She escaped with her son and a few others. They hid on different stations, changed names, became workers, cleaners, cooks, because no one notices a cleaner. And that's how they survived. Until now. Jack listened silently. It was more than he expected. He finally said, "Why tell me this?" Zura replied, "Because you're in it now. They marked you." She showed him her scanner. It showed Jack's name on a list. Tagged by Varnax spies. Watched. You gave one credit, she said. That was enough. Jack stood. So what now? I go back to work? Wait for the next bug to crawl into my bed? Zura looked him in the eyes. Or, you help me stop them. That night, Jack returned to his room. He closed the door, sat on his bed. He remembered Plek's voice on that first day. Give my mama credit, she clean your toilet. Jack smiled sadly. That one line had changed everything. He opened his drawer and pulled out a small tool, one he used for fixing engines. Now maybe he'd use it for something else. But across the station, danger was rising. Inside a dark lab, a tall figure watched footage of Zura training. He wore a long coat and had pale skin. One eye was mechanical. On his arm, a silver tattoo glowed. It was the Varnax mark. Behind him were cages. Inside one of them, a small alien voice whispered, Mom. Plek was missing. Secret weapon Zeta 9 space station kept spinning silently in the dark of space. From the outside, Everything looked normal: bright lights, small ships coming and going, loud markets, tired workers. But inside, something had changed. Jack wasn't just a mechanic anymore. He was now part of a secret war, and the enemy had taken Plek. Inside Jack's room, Zura placed a small metal box on the floor. It looked like an old toolbox, scratched and dusty. But when she opened it, Jack's eyes went wide. Inside was a strange machine, half metal, half crystal, softly glowing blue. It hummed like it was breathing. "What is that?" Jack asked. Zura touched it gently. "This is what the Varnaks want. It's old Nali tech, a scanner, a blocker, a weapon." Jack raised an eyebrow. "It does all that?" Zura nodded. "It finds machines and shuts them down, even if they're hiding." Jack bent closer. "You've had this the whole time?" Zura looked down. "I was hiding it for my son, so he could grow up free." Jack understood. "But now they have him." Zura clenched her jaw. "Yes, and now we finish hiding in the market level." Jack bought supplies. Tools, wires, old parts. He wore a different jacket. He looked like a normal worker, but his eyes were sharper. Now he noticed things. 2 Varnaks drones floating near the power core. A fake cleaner bot scanning faces. A vendor pressing a button under his stall whenever Zura's people walked by. Everything was being watched. He returned to Zura and handed her the parts. "We build this thing now, no more waiting." Zura opened her coat and pulled out an old glove. It had 3 buttons and a glowing circle in the middle. "This will control the device," she said. "But once we power it on, they will know." Jack asked, "Can we test it?" Zura smiled. "We already did." She pointed to the shelf. There was a small black spider bot frozen in place. It walked in, touched the table, then stopped forever. Jack chuckled. "Good, let's make more of these." That night, while the station lights dimmed, Zura hummed again, the same strange, sad song. Jack finally asked, "Why do you always sing that tune?" Zura looked at him for a long moment. Then she said, "It's not a song, it's a signal. Nali. Songs use sound waves. My voice tells the device it's near family." Jack blinked. "So if someone else touches it?" Zura nodded. "It explodes." Jack swallowed hard. "Good to know." Suddenly, the lights flickered. A warning flashed. On the wall screen, Sector 9 airlock breach, security in progress. Zura stood up fast. "That's the signal. They're here." Jack grabbed a wrench. "They know we have the device?" "No," Zura said. "They know we're close to finishing it, and they're scared." Meanwhile, in a dark lab on the other side of the station, Plek sat inside a small glass cage. His eyes were tired. He hadn't eaten in 2 days. Strange machines had scanned his brain, taken his DNA, and shown it to the Varnaks leader. That leader, Commander Rexel, smiled as he looked at the data. "So," he whispered, "the boy has it too." He turned to a lab tech. "Begin the clone tests." The tech looked nervous. "But the original device," Rexel growled. "We will get it, or the boy dies." Back in Jack's room, the device blinked faster. Zura placed it into a small, shielded bag. "We move now?" Jack asked. "Where?" "To the lower vents," she said. "There's a signal booster down there. We activate the weapon, send a burst across the station. It will fry every hidden spy machine." Jack grabbed his tools. "Let's go." As they stepped into the dark vent tunnels, 2 small eyes followed them from above a tiny red drone. It blinked once and flew away. From his lab, Commander Rexel received the feed. He smiled. "Let them try." He pressed a button on his arm. A silent message was sent to every hidden unit on Zeta 9. "Intercept. Kill if needed. Bring the device alive." Rescue mission. The lower levels of Zeta 9 were quiet. Too quiet. Pipes hissed. Vents creaked. Lights flickered. Zura and Jack moved slowly through the shadows. Jack held a flashlight. Zura carried the sealed bag with the Nali device inside. On her wrist was the signal glove, now glowing red. They had one goal: reach the signal booster room near Sector 13. It was the only place strong enough to activate the device and send a wave across the station. That wave would destroy every Varnax. Spy machine, but time was running out, because the enemy had PLEK. Jack checked his tracker. No guards. No cameras. Still, something felt wrong. Are we walking into a trap? He whispered. Zura didn't answer right away. Then she said, yes. Jack stopped. Wait, what? Zura kept walking. They want us to come. That's why we must go. Jack frowned. That makes zero sense. She turned and looked at him. If we don't finish this, she said softly, they won't need Plek alive anymore. That was enough. Jack nodded, and they moved on. Meanwhile, Plek sat inside a glowing glass cell. His small green hands were shaking. A machine above him buzzed, ready to extract more data. The lab was cold. Commander Rexel stood outside the glass, watching. He has the memory, he told his assistant. Not just DNA, he remembers her training, her voice, her signal code. The assistant hesitated. He's just a child. Rexel smiled with metal teeth. Yes, that's why he's easy to break. He pressed a button. The glass started to fill with cold gas. Back in the vent tunnels, Zura suddenly stopped. Jack nearly bumped into her. What is it? She whispered. I heard him. Jack looked confused. Who? Zura closed her eyes. Plek, I heard his cry. He used the song. Jack blinked. Wait, he sang to you? In your mind? She nodded. He used the first note of the Nali signal. That means one thing. What? They've started the mind scan. Zura's eyes narrowed. They're trying to steal his thoughts. Jack pulled up the map. Okay, new plan. We hit the booster room after we get him out. Zura didn't hesitate. Agreed. She pulled out a small cleaner bot from her bag. It looked like a vacuum, but when she pressed a button, its sides popped open, revealing tiny weapons. Jack smiled. Your vacuum's packing heat? Zura didn't smile back. All tools can fight, if they're built by the right hands. They followed a maintenance tunnel to a secret hatch behind the lab sector. Inside, everything was metal and cold. Blue lights blinked. Doors hissed open and closed. Zura's glove beeped. He's nearby. Jack peeked around the corner and saw two guards. Let me handle them, he whispered. He pulled out a small oil sprayer and threw it. It hit the floor and burst slip. The guards stepped on it and fell hard. Before they could get up, Zura's vacuum bot rolled in and zapped them, both down. Silent. Jack grinned. Best cleaning job ever. They reached the lab. Plexiglass cell was filling with cold mist. He was coughing, weak. Zura ran forward and shouted, Plek! Plek looked up. Mom! Commander Rexel turned in surprise. He stepped in front of the controls. Too late. His mind is already ours. Zura didn't speak. She tossed the bag on the floor. Rexel laughed. You brought the device to me? You're more foolish than I thought. He reached for it. Zura pressed the first button on her glove. The device beeped and Rexel's arm sparked. His mechanical eyes shut down. His screen turned to static. He roared. What did you do? Jack leapt forward and smashed the glass cell with a wrench. Plek fell out. Zura caught him. Got you, she whispered. Jack turned and said, We have to go, now. But behind them, Rexel stood half-blind, angry, sparking with power. You can't run. You brought me what I needed. Zura glared. No, I brought what will end you. She pressed button 2. The device began glowing brighter. Back in the tunnels, hidden Varnax bots started to short-circuit. Sparks flew, systems failed. The whole station began to hum with energy. Zura, Jack, and Plek ran as alarms blared behind them. Rexel screamed in rage. They reached the booster room. Zura dropped the device into the core slot. Plek, she said gently. Sing the final note. The boy nodded. He closed his eyes and sang. A soft high tone filled the room. The device glowed blue, then white. Then dash, B-O-O-O-O. A wave of light spread across the station. Every hidden drone, every spy bug, every machine Rexel placed shut down. Across the station, silence fell. The Varnax network was dead, but Rexel had escaped, and the war wasn't over. Zura hugged Plek tightly. Jack sat down, breathing hard. We're still alive. Zura looked at him. For now. She turned to the empty door. He will come back, and next time, he won't be alone. The rebellion begins. The lights on Zeta 9 station flickered. Something had changed. The silent war wasn't silent anymore. For years, people ignored the strange cameras, the floating repair drones, the janitor bots that seemed too smart. But now, those machines were gone. Dead. Wiped out in one bright pulse. And the ones who caused it. A cleaner, a mechanic, and a small alien child. Deep inside the maintenance bay, Jack stood next to Zura and Plek. The device, now burned and dark, lay in pieces. It's done, Jack said, wiping sweat from his forehead. Zura didn't look away from the door. No, it's only starting. Plek sat beside her, quiet but alert. He was no longer just a child. He had sung a war song. He had activated the final note. He was a symbol now. The next day, something strange happened. In Dock 9, a human cleaner named Mira found a broken spy camera and stomped it with her boot. In the food hall, a cook disabled a bug he found in the oven vent. In the laundry sector, 2 alien workers pulled a listening chip from the wall and crushed it. People were waking up. They weren't scared anymore. Zura walked through the corridors in silence. Some nodded at her. Some whispered her name. Some simply made space for her to pass. She was no longer invisible. She was the signal. Jack sat at his old repair shop, fixing a pipe. But now, when he opened his toolbox, hidden beneath the wrench and oil, was a pulse. Grenade. Not to kill, to blind the enemy. He looked up and saw Mira waiting. I'm ready, she said simply. Behind her stood 5 others, mechanics, cooks, janitors, delivery bots with reprogrammed eyes. Jack stood. You trained them? Zura stepped from the shadows. No, they trained themselves. They called it the Hidden Rebellion. No uniforms, no weapons, no warships. Just tools, code, songs, and courage. They met in broken tunnels, back storage rooms, and old freezer units. They called themselves the Dustborn because they rose from the parts of the station no one ever cleaned. One night, a signal reached them, a whisper from another station. We saw what you did on Zeta 9. Can you teach us? Zura replied with only one word, yes. But not everyone celebrated. In a dark ship just outside Zeta 9's orbit, Commander Rexel stared at the screen. His metal eye had been replaced. His arm upgraded. His face was full of scars and fury. The rebellion is spreading, his officer said. Rexel clenched his fists. Let it spread. He turned toward a long hallway. There in large glass tanks floated silent machines, new ones, faster, stronger, deadlier. Not spies. Hunters. He smiled. Next time, they won't be ready. Back on Zeta 9, Jack sat with Plek. They were rewiring a cleaner bot. Plek laughed. This one's gonna shoot bubbles or bombs? Jack grinned. Both. Zura entered the room, holding a piece of old cloth. It was her cleaning rag, the same one she used on Jack's toilet weeks ago. She handed it to Plek. Time to learn the old ways, she said. But this time not to clean. Plek nodded and stood tall. Jack looked out the window. The stars still shone. The station still spun. But now, it had a heart. People who were tired of hiding. People who believed even small actions could start big revolutions. People who knew. Give my mama credit, she clean your toilet. ... was never just a joke. It was the beginning of a war. Glory and freedom. The alarms on Zeta 9 howled like never before. Red lights flashed, shutters slammed shut. The voice of the stations. Central AI repeated over and over. Warning. Unauthorized docking detected. Hostile presence confirmed. But it was already too late, Commander. Rexel had returned, not with spies, not with bugs, but with machines built to hunt. Tall, sharp, fast, wired to obey only one command. Erase the rebellion. In the market district, the first scream was followed by silence. Then chaos. People ran. Doors locked. The sky bridge cracked from a single energy blast. A cleaner bot tried to block the way. The hunter stepped through it like paper. In the shadows, Zura opened her eyes. They're here, she whispered. Jack stood by her side, holding a small detonator. Plek looked up. Fearless now, Zura handed him her old gray coat, the same one she wore when she first cleaned Jack's toilet. Put it on, she said. You earned it. Plek nodded. He wasn't just her son anymore. He was a Dustborn. Across the station, rebel groups activated. A cook dropped a pot but revealed a plasma net beneath. 2 mechanics blocked a corridor and wired the walls with sound. Bombs. Mira, the cleaner, loaded her mop with shock gel. They didn't wear armor. They didn't look like soldiers. But they were ready. Jack and Zura moved toward that power core. That's where Rexel was headed. If he controlled it, he could shut down life support and silence the station. Zura looked at Jack. You don't have to go further, Jack smiled. I came this far over a dirty toilet. Might as well finish the job. They reached the main core doors and found Rexel waiting. His body was more machine than man now. Metal limbs, one red eye. Voice deep and broken. You caused this, Rexel growled. You taught the weak to rise. Zura stepped forward. You made them weak. I only reminded them they could stand. Rexel raised his hand. A bolt of energy shot toward her, but Jack jumped in front. His tool belt exploded in sparks as the shot hit. Jack fell. Plek screamed. Nitrogen monoxide. Zura didn't blink. She grabbed a nearby pipe, dodged the next shot, and leapt. The old cleaner's body moved like a warrior, silent, swift, perfect. She pressed the final charge on Rexel's chest, one she had hidden in the cloth rag. All this time, for my son. She jumped back as it exploded. Rexel screamed, fell to his knees, then collapsed, finally silent. Jack coughed. He was alive, barely. You okay? Plek asked. Jack grinned. My back's broken, but at least the toilet's safe. Zura laughed. For the first time in years. 1 hour later, the skybridge was quiet. Zura stood with Plek, Mira, and others. The rebellion had won. No more spy machines. No more silent watchers. No more fear. People came out of hiding. They cheered. They hugged. They were free. Zura looked at Jack. You're a hero now. Jack shook his head. I just said yes to a toilet. Zura smiled. Exactly. In the middle of the station, a small alien child stood on a crate and shouted, Give my mama credit, she cleaned your toilet. People laughed, but this time, they didn't laugh at him. They listened. Epilogue. 1 year later. Zeta 9 had changed. The Dustborn were no longer hiding. They were leaders, now training others. Fixing, building, protecting. Plek studied science. Jack opened a tech school. And Zura? She opened a cleaning company. Its slogan? Cleaning with honor. Fighting with heart. And hanging on the wall, her old gray cloth. Framed